Hi YouTube. Good news today. I'm not in my closet. I actually I ventured out into my actual bedroom for this vlog. Actually the reason I did it, my son's not home at the moment. So I guess I kind of want to talk today about um I guess emotions. Like seems to be my the thing I talk about the most. But I've noticed lately that I'm catching myself while I might be in the middle of a trigger. And I figured out the things that kind of triggered me. Stress, big trigger. Big trigger. Exhaustion, another huge trigger. What's another thing? I was gonna say change is kind of a big trigger for me. Not kind of a big trigger, it is a big trigger. I did notice that recently I have been eating a lot more, and a lot of that has to do with the changes that are kind of going on at work right now. And it's not like it's it's nobody's fault. I mean, it's the only person that's responsible for my eating is me. But I am noticing that I have a huge issue with change. And good change, bad change, indifferent. I think just change is a problem for me anyway. So, I have noticed, and there's also another thing. I have really bad anxiety about certain relationships with people. I'm not gonna go into them because, these days you never know who's gonna stumble upon this. But I find it very difficult for me to be in a relationship with someone that I'm, for lack of a better term, constantly having to guard myself around. Like, I'm constantly having to guard what I say, make sure I don't say the wrong thing, make sure that it's not construed, make sure what I say isn't construed as being, negative or mean or whatever. So that's really hard. I also think that I'm becoming a lot more self-aware about the words that I use. A long time ago, I read this really wonderful book. If anybody's familiar with Louise Hay, it's probably the first or second book she ever put out, How to Heal Your Life. And I decided to pick that up again. And I started, watching the movie again, and I'm gonna, start doing my affirmations a lot more, because I remember when I was doing them, how much better things were. And then I kind of got out of the habit of that. And the thing that kind of knocks me out of my habit is when someone that doesn't necessarily do affirmations, or isn't particularly positive, can definitely just kind of drag me back into that way of thinking. So I'm gonna be a little bit more proactive about the words that I use and how I choose to use them. And also, just being more, more aware of the environment that I'm in, and trying to be a little bit more, I think positive is positive. I need to be a little bit more positive about the situation that I'm in, because, if you keep complaining about the situation and you just keep constantly complaining about it, all you're doing is creating more of how bad it is. So I'm going to work really hard to get out of the habit of the constant complaining I am doing about my eating. So, with that being said, I have decided to kind of create my own version of affirmations that you would do to yourself. One of the things that they talk about is, mirror work. Say certain affirmations to yourself. Now, for those of you that don't know what affirmations are, they are, the words you speak to yourself. Anything that you speak and anything that you think is an affirmation. Like, you affirm that something is going to happen. So, like I say, if you're constantly complaining about how bad things are, all you're doing is creating more of how bad it is. So, I did notice that today I was complaining about, oh my God, I just don't want to go to my job. I don't want to go to my job. I just really don't want to go in today. It's not what I want to do. I don't want to go. So I had a kind of an experience with a friend of mine who, kind of texted me the same thing. And they were going, oh, I don't even want to go into work today. And then when she started complaining about it, that really made me think, all we're doing is just creating more of how bad it is. More of how bad it is. And I texted that back to her. I was like, the only people that can really change our way of thinking about this is us. And I said, all we're doing is creating more of how bad it is. So why don't we be a little bit more positive, and we say to ourselves, I have the job that I want, and it suits every need that I have. So that's kind of what's on the books for this next week, going into this next week, is trying to kind of, be a little bit more positive, use positive affirmations, and we'll see where that one goes. This is kind of a short vlog today, because I actually have to get ready to go somewhere. But, comments, questions, whatevs, I love to hear them all. Anyway, I gotta go. So, yeah, that's what I'm working on this week. Being positive and being more proactive, and, really paying attention to what words I use and what thoughts I think. So, we'll see you next week. Hopefully I'll have more interesting information for you. Bye-bye!